Hello, this is Debbie with Tough the Unstoppable Female. America, it is time to up our voices and activism to DEFCON 1000. From Trump's abuse of our kids, our girls, our women, our elderly, our homeless, our brown and black community, our LGBTQ friends and family, our humanity, and we're talking about the abuse from Trump. Our humanity, our empathy, our caring, our kindness for all, our love of diversity, and our fight to protect our immigrants. Let's start with protecting men, women, and children, American citizens as well as immigrants, from the evil, unhuman members of ICE. These two videos that I'm going to list below, I want to share them with everybody, are about what happened in Chicago this week. One is from Park Rose Permaculture, and the other one is from Christina Talks. Incredible women that have a lot to say and say it beautifully. Might be a little strong, but they say it beautifully. So those are listed below. Please watch and share. Have a great evening. Raise your voice.
One of the darkest, most frightening, brutal, authoritarian acts that this regime has undertaken happened in the early hours of Tuesday, September 30th. And I think a lot of us missed it because we were distracted with Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump's embarrassing display in front of our military leaders later in the day. I know I should have talked about this story earlier, and multiple other news outlets were also failing to cover it, and I'm really glad that it's starting to get more traction today because everybody needs to know what ICE did in Chicago at 1 a.m. on Tuesday, September 30th. I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to show you some clips. I want you to know that my sources are the Chicago Sun-Times, the New Republic, Chris Hayes on MSNBC, the New York Times, and Heather Cox Richardson's Substack. Oh, as well as some clips from local Chicago news stations. What we know is that about 300 agents and the FBI confirmed that they were supporting ICE, so it wasn't just ICE agents, helicoptered in and swarmed a South Shore apartment building in the middle of the night, dragging residents out and ransacking the building. Ultimately, Homeland Security arrested 37 people, and their claim is that they were targeting subjects believed to be involved in drug trafficking and distribution, weapons crimes, and immigration violations. But there were no warrants that were presented at the time. So I want you to get a picture for what happened. This is the middle of the night. These are civilians sleeping in their homes. This is an apartment complex, not a military target. Federal agents came in with helicopters, rappelled down onto the roof of the building, broke down doors, used flashbangs, and they ripped tenants from their apartment. They detained United States citizens without warrants, without identifying who these agents were, and they absolutely destroyed these people's homes and personal property. But it gets far worse than that.
They asked me, was I a U.S. citizen? I told them, yeah. I was born here. It was real tight, all right here. And every time I moved, it would hurt.
Patricia Fisher says she was detained by federal agents this morning, claims she was held for hours in a van with other neighbors at 7500 South Shore Drive, while agents confirmed her identity, citizenship, and confirmed she had no active warrants. She describes the scene as she says children were also let out of the building.
No shoes. The kids that had no shirts or no pants on, they just treated us like we were nothing.
He said he had warrants for 5 people. I said, so why you detaining the whole building? He says for the safety of our people.
Ebony Watson watched and filmed what she saw.
And all you see is this whole block full of budget rental cars.
showing a massive show of force and rental trucks used in this mission alongside ICE, FBI, and other federal agencies. The FBI called it a, quote, targeted immigration enforcement operation.
So let's make something clear here. Federal agents are claiming that they had warrants for 5 people. They raided an entire apartment complex, dragged people out, took American citizens, handcuffed them, and stuffed them into the back of rental trucks for hours and hours with no probable cause, no warrants for the agent's safety. Is this what we want to have normalized in the United States of America? That masked goons can sweep into your home with no warrant, no cause whatsoever, drag you out in the middle of the night, handcuff you, stuff you into a van for as long as they want, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. They are operating outside of the law. This is unreal. You guys have got to understand how severe of a violation this is on so many levels. This kind of authoritarian, absolutely illegal bullshit cannot be normalized or tolerated in the United States of America. The Trump regime and literal ghoul Stephen Miller are now saying it is acceptable if ICE manufactures some scenario where they say there might be something going on, maybe possibly with immigrants. They can just bust down the door of your home, come in, drag you out, handcuff you, do whatever the fuck they want to you while they figure out whatever it is they're doing. Whatever. They're manufacturing terror in our cities. They're manufacturing terror across the United States of America. This is unreal. Now you may have missed a little portion there in the middle of all of that. Federal agents dragged naked children out of their homes. They zip tied them and dragged them out, separated them from their parents in the middle of the night. Witness Daryl Ballard recalled seeing agents using big 15-inch chainsaws to cut down the fence. "We're under siege," he said. "We're being invaded by our own military." Resident Roderick Johnson told the Block Club Chicago that he heard people dropping on the roof. His door was kicked in by agents. He was packed into a van for hours without being told why he was being detained. "I asked agents why they were holding me if I was an American citizen. They said that I had to wait until they looked me up. I asked if they had a warrant. I asked for a lawyer. They never brought one." This is what Donald Trump wants to normalize across the United States, that his goons, his secret police, can do whatever they want to you and you cannot stop them. I know that man said it feels like the military is waging war on us, right? We are under siege from our own military. Let's be very clear. This is not the United States military that is doing this. This is former Proud Boys, Oath Keepers. Probably they're still current Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. These are masked thugs. These are Donald Trump's secret police. They are his personal paramilitary force, and we are funding this to the tune of tens of billions of dollars of our tax money. We are funding Donald Trump's private police terrorizing American citizens.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no, I didn't.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released. Citizenat video shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
Watson says budget trucks and military-style vans were used to separate parents from their children. Other neighbors say they saw agents destroying property to get in the building.
And they had a big 15-inch chainsaw with a round blade on it, cutting this fence down. We're under siege. We're being invaded by our own military.
Masked agents with no warrants dragging naked children zip-tied together out of their homes, stuffing them into trucks, separating them from their parents. By the way, 4 of those children were United States citizens. ICE took them. According to Block Club Chicago, those United States citizen children are being held by the Department of Homeland Security until they can be placed in the care of guardians. There are no details about their whereabouts. Kristi Noem's Department of Homeland Security can just come and snatch American citizen children. They can take naked children and drag them zip-tied out in the middle of the night, rip them away from their families. They can break into the homes of, destroy the property of American citizens, violate their rights, handcuff them, detain them without probable cause and without warrants. Is this making America great again? Why is there not mass public outrage from every corner of this country? If you call yourself a Republican, the party of small government, of states' rights, the party that worships and adores the Constitution, at least y'all did up until you started worshiping Donald Trump. Please tell me how you justify this. Please tell me how it is acceptable. I know what a lot of y'all are going to say. Well, it's because it was Black and Latino folks. You don't think that it can happen to you, white Republicans. You don't think that this is the future that Donald Trump wants to inflict upon everybody in this country. You're okay with the violation of people's constitutional rights as long as they aren't white, as long as they're not you. How about you fucking go read the First They Came For poem? I do not think it's possible to exaggerate how horrendous and illegal this action was by the Department of Homeland Security under Donald Trump and Kristi Noem. This was an egregious violation of the rights of Americans. This was an egregiously brutal, extreme, unhinged authoritarian move, and they think that they're going to get away with it. Please understand they're testing the limits. They're seeing if the American people push back, and if we don't, they're going to do this in more and more places. It is crucial that we do not let this action go unanswered. There has to be massive public outcry. Do we want an America where masked men zip-tie naked children, handcuff American citizens, and stuff them into vans? Are we great again yet?
Well. These people are so predictable, baby. We already told you about what was going to go down in Chicago expeditiously because of fucking daddy. You see, in case you don't know, and I don't know how, maybe you're living under a rock today, the Frozen crew was in Chicago the other night, baby. And they decided that they were going to break into a apartment building and kidnap a bunch of Black Americans. That's the way I said it, baby, because as far as I can see, there was not a warrant at play, so they were breaking into a fucking building and kidnapping people, okay? And by the way, let me just drop this in here real quick. As of today, the Frozen crew has come out to say they're hiring a whole bunch of new individuals to scour the internet of people's social media feeds to see if they say anything against ICE today. Fuck ICE. How about that? Okay? Now, back to the other things that I wanted to say. So they decided to break into an apartment building and hem up a bunch of Black Americans, dear. And some of you seem to think this is okay because they released them a few hours later, baby. It is not fucking okay in any kind of way. And we told you this was going to happen. Y'all seem to think it only had to do with immigrants here in this nation. Just the brown people in this nation that don't speak English, dear. That's what y'all thought was going to happen here when you cast that vote for that fucking fool. And I'm talking to the blacks for Trump today. Are you fucking okay? Your daddy's over there on his not-so-trues trying to do damage control, by the way. Let's peek in to see how he's trying to damage control this shit, baby. Yes, now that word is out on the street that they're hemming up Black people, baby, Daddy took to his not-so-trues expeditiously to post this false bit of news. Wow, such an honor. Record stuff for a Republican president, DJT. Political polls. New Trump approval poll by Black voters. 54% of Black voters approve, is what he is trying to make you believe after that shit show in Chicago, baby. Maybe you should redo your poll today and see what the Black voters in Chicago have to say, because I'm pretty sure when they woke up to hear the news about their brothers and sisters being hemmed up the way that they were hemmed up the other day, honey, epigenetics is at play. Oh yes, because it activated my epigenetics, you see, and I'm fucking white as can be. Now, for those of you who don't know about epigenetics, dear, let me explain something here. It's kind of like the saying, an elephant never forgets. They pass down through their biology, their migration routes, baby. That's epigenetics, you see. And things are passed down to us biologically, not just the color of our skin and our hair color and our eye color too, but the trauma that our ancestors went through. That's right. Your ability to walk into a room and clock everybody there with no training, dear, that's your epigenetics at play. That's your ancestors and what they had to pass down to you from what they learned back in the day. And this shit activated my epigenetics. And I'm not even of melanation. But I am French and Irish, Jewish, Nigerian, Congolese, Mesopotamia. Baby, my ancestors and the shit that they went through. So trust me when I tell you that black voters are not at 54% of approval today with that orange fucking hoe in any kind of way, because every black American who heard that story immediately felt something, baby. And it wasn't just them either. I'm very tied to my Irish ancestors, dear, that lived through slavery and famine, honey, for hundreds of years. So when those masked men came into their residence with weapons in their faces and hemmed them up and put them in tight places with their hands and their ankles bound, trust me when I fucking tell you, they felt it, baby. They felt the repression and the oppression of their ancestors in that moment right there. This shit's gotta stop. Right now. How are we letting 17% of America run over us today? And this is not the black man's fault, by the way. This is on people who look like me, but apparently ain't got the balls I do, baby. Every white person in America today that really believes they're an ally in some kind of way, I suggest you put on your accomplice vest today and get out there in the fucking streets and disturb the peace. Peacefully, of course. See, all of this gathering in parks from here and there and everywhere, doing your little kumbaya sessions ain't gonna work, honey. No. You're going to have to start showing up at government buildings, at news stations. That's where you need to be, screaming fucking loudly that we are all ready to be free from Orange Daddy and this current regime. I think we need to set an example for our military, is what I'm trying to tell you today, about what they need to be doing, honey. And I just have a little reminder I need to drop in on here, dear, for people like Petey Keg's Breath and Daddy Dumpy Pants and Creepy Pee-Pee Mike Johnson, who seem to think that the military serves at the pleasure of the president. You are confused today. Every last one of you fools up there on Capitol Hill, including the ones in the White House, baby, you serve at the pleasure of the people like me. Public servants. And I am the public, honey, and you are not fucking serving me. So it's time to move them out of the way and put people up there who actually believe in serving you and me today.